a matter of fact, I think 11 of the 12 spots are sort of taken up. And again, I'm not talking about teams like, Big 12 champion, ACC champion, but I think you're really down to one spot. What are we seeing with the current odds and how they're moving?
So you see a lot of teams off the board to make the playoff, right? We have our 4 Big Ten teams essentially locked in. You have your Notre Dame. You definitely have 3 SEC teams. Now, where there starts to be a little controversy is opening up. So what you're looking at right now is the odds makers implied number of teams from each conference, right? So you look at the SEC, you see essentially 3.7 teams. You look at the ACC, you see 1.3 teams. Now, this is where we opened up when the odds reopened after this weekend. So to me, that tells me if we only get the ACC winner, if we only get SMU, say SMU wins the ACC, then we get a 4th SEC team. So you saw SMU open up around a 50-50 pick'em to win against Clemson, and then you saw Alabama's playoff odds open up at 50-50 as well. You see steam go to SMU to win this game to crush Clemson. You see steam to Alabama to make the playoffs. So to me, that's odds makers saying with 1 ACC team means 4 SEC teams. So that's where you can really start to find ways to bet. But it is interesting because I know we have a ton of SEC teams that we think maybe could get in, but you could also talk about the Big 12. This is a disgusting Big 12. Arizona State versus Iowa State. If this is a terrible, low-scoring game, do we need any of them? Do we want to take more ACC teams? Do we want to get Miami in there somehow? Do we want to get a 5th SEC team? That's a lot of questions that will be answered tonight when we see the rankings come out. And we'll have more answers, but that's so far where we're looking right now.
All right, so look, for me, it's Alabama's the team that's the big winner. And what they're telling you is if SMU beats Clemson, Bama's going to get in.
Right.
And if SMU loses to Clemson, Bama still might get in. They still might take them over SMU. I'd be thrilled if I was a Bama fan. Where can we make money off of this?
So basically, and I agree, it's that direct correlation, right? I know that Alabama's going to get in if SMU wins. So instead of taking Alabama, the public is steaming this to like almost minus 200 for this Alabama team to make the playoff. Take the SMU money line. Take the SMU spread, because the direct correlation of SMU winning, that's around minus 130, that money line is. Take that bet instead of spending your money on Alabama to make the playoff. So it's essentially the same bet, same outcome, and you're getting a lot more value there.
Excellent job. There you go. Get a sip of water. Need you for a little more coming up. And you know what? You want to see everybody's picks, you go to SportsLine. We'll get you all set and covered. And you know what? Straight ahead, as I mentioned, we're going to get more on what's going on in terms of the conference title games. Where's the value? Who's going to win? We'll go over the big matchups next. I'm Eric Casillas. Yeah, Early Edge. Back in on the Early Edge, brought to you by MGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. I'm Eric Casillas from Mackenzie Brooks. No time to waste. Let's get to this weekend college football conference championship games. First up, Big 12. Iowa State, Arizona State. Feels like every game this week is 2.5. This one, Arizona State favored by 2.5. Total 50.5. What do we have?
I like Iowa State here, and I don't think Iowa State's the best thing since sliced bread, but Arizona State's without their best wide receiver, Jordan Tyson. He's out for the season. I don't think people have done their homework necessarily yet on this game, and I think we'll start to see the line steam more towards Iowa State. Tyson accounted for 46% of the team's receiving touchdowns, 40% of their receptions, receiving yards. They are nothing without him. They have a running back, but that's the only other option now. Now they're easy to predict, and Iowa State can work with that.
Next up, Georgia, Texas, SEC. Texas by 2.5, 49.5.
This is hedging happiness, EK. It's very hard to beat a same good team twice, so I do think Texas wins this game here. I do think they can cover this.
All right, fine. I won't make you say any more and disparage your Georgia. Penn State, Oregon, 3.5 in Indy. Oregon favored, 49.5.
I like Penn State. I like Penn State money line here. Look, I think the thing with Oregon is 3 plays have decided the difference between Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon. You have Will Howard, who beat Will Howard in the Ohio State-Oregon game, and you had 2 weird plays in the Penn State-Ohio State game as well. We're using that common opponent incorrectly here. I think this line's too much. I think Penn State is completely alive in this game.
Last one, quickly. Clemson, SMU, ACC, SMU by 2.5. Total there, 56.5.
It's been death taxes, SMU team totals, overs all year long. They are always scoring at least 30 points here. But again, Clemson, this is the best defense they're going to play. So I just like the SMU spread here. I still think they get it done.